So just got back from James's house, shooting a load of videos, and this is waiting for me. So I thought I'd just open it up and show you the new guitar that I just bought. So a few weeks ago, we were doing the live show, and someone asked about Suhr guitars, and I've had a few Suhr guitars. And one of the things I said about Suhr guitars were that predominantly they tend to be quite heavy, normally weighing about 8 pounds minimum, I would say. But Suhr used to make this limited edition guitar, which I've just managed to get my hands on. There was one that appeared on eBay. Unfortunately, unlike a lot of Suhrs, it comes in a case, and I tend to prefer gig bags and cases, but it comes in a case anyway, which some people prefer, but I thought I'd show you guys first, as I always do. Ooh. So this is a Suhr Paulownia, or Suhr Classic S Paulownia. God, it's light. That's nice. That's 6.9 pounds, something like that, I'd say. Now, as I said, most Suhrs come out about 8 pounds minimum, and Suhr, for some reason, a few years ago, decided to bring out a lightweight guitar, lightweight Classic S limited edition Paulownia, and that looks awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend a couple of days getting used to it, and I'll be back in a couple of seconds for you guys, but a couple of days for me after I've set it up and done all the little tweaks that I normally do. And yeah, we'll hear how it sounds. Now, one of the things that I do on every single Strat style guitar is to remove the back plate. I always find that I'm constantly tweaking at the tremolo springs and the screw just to get it right, and it takes, for me, a good sort of week of playing it, and then a little bit of adjustment, and then playing it a little bit more, and again a little bit more of adjustment. But the trem on this is sort of sticking up like that, so that is the first thing that I'm going to sort out. Now, I'm sure that there's some guitar techs looking at what I'm doing going, why isn't he measuring this, why isn't he doing that? But I tend to do everything by eye, and I always have done ever since I was a kid. So it's same with action as well. This will get adjusted by eye, and I don't use any measurements. It just gets adjusted and adjusted until it's sort of sitting right with me. And I tend to find every guitar is different. Like on my Strat, the action is going to be a lot higher than, say, like on my Telly, and everything just gets adjusted over time until it just sort of sits. And I find with the guitar as well that it does take a while just to sort of bed itself in and settle down. And even when I've had guitars back from techs, I tend to find that I'm still adjusting. So, as I said, I'm going to whip the strings off this, get used to it for a couple of days, and then come back in a couple of seconds for you guys. Sorry, I keep sort of cutting back into this. Now, first thing I always do as well, once I get a new guitar, it doesn't matter if it's, even if the strings look new on it, I will always change the strings. I tend to use these string joy orbiters 10 to 48. They're like a balance set. So it goes 10, 13.5, which is different to a normal sort of 10 set, and then 17, 26, 36, and 48. So they're slightly heavier than a sort of standard 10 set. And I really like these strings, and they're coated strings. They're like D'Addario NYXLs. If you use them, I used to use D'Addario NYXLs, and I was at a guitar show, and there was a stall there selling string joy. So James and myself, we bought like a bunch of string joy strings and absolutely fell in love with them. So highly recommended. String joy orbiters 10 to 48. So I've had a couple of days with it. It was pretty badly set up, I would say. So I've tweaked it to how I like it, and I think I'm getting more fussy the older I get about just how exactly I like the setup and the string tension and the action and all that sort of stuff, and the way the tremolo sits. So I'm definitely getting fussier. But anyway, this is absolutely incredible. It is, I weighed it, it's 6.6 pounds. So as I said earlier on, for a Suhr, that is incredibly light. Most Suhrs come in about, well, over 8 pounds. I don't know why they pick heavier woods, but because this is Paulownia, it is a much lighter wood. Now, I found out through a reputable source that Suhr no longer use Paulownia as an option. So apparently, and I could be wrong with this, but it came from a reputable source, that Suhr won't even offer it as a custom option because it is so hard to work with. But as a wood, it is absolutely fantastic. Incredibly lightweight, incredibly resonant, and so far I think this might be my favourite Super Strat that I've ever played. Now to quickly go through the specs, what you get a roasted bird's eye maple neck. Bird's eye maple, you don't really see that much anymore on necks. I think sometimes Ernie Ball use them, but you tend to see more of the flame maple, which personally I prefer the look of, but you get a bird's eye maple neck with this and it's roasted, feels great. Personally, I think I'd have preferred a rosewood fingerboard, but for this particular model, they don't offer that. Obviously, as I said earlier, you get the Paulownia body, you get the tortoiseshell scratch plate. I'm not keen. Now, this is going to sound like I'm being negative about a lot of things, but I think because of the series that I'm doing, I've got to be quite honest. I don't particularly like tortoiseshell scratch plates. I think the white scratch plate or a mint scratch plate would look better, but that's the way it goes. Pickups wise, you've got a DSV humbucker. This might be my new favourite humbucker or Suhr humbucker. I used to really love the Suhr Peakthorn and the Peakthorn Plus, but this is the DSV. I think this has even more clarity than that. Sounds absolutely fantastic. And you get a couple of V63 single coils. These are their vintage voiced mid-60s Strat sort of style pickups. I think they're okay. A little bit spiky, if I'm honest, but I've been told by, again, a reputable source that these sound really, really good in the live situation. They really cut. So I think I'm going to leave the guitar as it is. I'm definitely not changing that humbucker because I love that, but the single coils, possibly. We get what you get on a lot of Suhrs, which is the Goto 510 bridge and the Suhr locking tuners. And I would say from the feel and the weight and the sound of it, this pretty much is a perfect guitar. So let's have a quick listen to the pickups clean. The neck pickup first of all. Neck and middle. really like that setting. Middle. Bridge and middle. And bridge. And when I say clean, it's about as clean as I get, but you can hear the way that the bridge is driving the front end compared to the single coils. Now I say this a lot with Super Strats or HSS style guitars, that a lot of pickups don't really suit the humbucker singles configuration, because you either get a great sounding humbucker or great sounding single coils, and one doesn't really work. That humbucker really works with these single coils. Again, I think the single coils are a little bit spiky for me. They've got this 2 kilohertz sort of peak about it, but I can always change them out. And let's hear the pickups of some overdrive. That's the humbucker. Let's try the neck. And there you can hear that sort of peak. But they do sound great. Now bridge and middle, I think this combination really works with these pickups. Middle. Middle and neck. So as I said earlier on in the video, this is no longer a current model, and apparently Suhr are no longer working with Paulownia. But you can obviously buy these second-hand when they come up like I did. There is actually a couple still left at Thomann in Europe. I'll leave the link in the notes below so you guys can go and check that out if you're based in Europe. Actually, even if you're based in the US, they still send to the US. But I think so far this is the best Super Strat that I've played. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I think I'm going to get used to it for a few more weeks, and I'll obviously be using it in other videos, so keep watching for some more content on that. But so far, really pleased with this, and really hope you guys got something out of this video. If you did get something out of it, don't forget to like and subscribe, click on the bell button, and you'll be notified of any future video that comes out from the Studio Rats. I'm Paul, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.